Welcome, welcome. I am really thrilled to be here today with some of our speakers from our fourth summit, the Design Live Thrive Summit for Women. We are here to help you understand the value of coaching. We want to introduce you to lots of magical things that can happen and the transformations that you can have through coaching. And today I'm going to introduce you to some of our speakers. But before we get started, I want to make sure that you sign up. This is a free event for women. This is for women who want to step into their purpose. Maybe they want to find out what that purpose is. They want to improve their health. They want to learn a little bit more about their finances. Maybe it's weight. They want to learn how to manage their weight. All kinds of topics to support you as you make this 2026 a year that you will absolutely love. So make sure you save your free seat, designlivethrive.com. But I also want to tell you, you should sign up for our VIP ticket for just $27. When you get your VIP ticket, you can actually get a complimentary coaching session with any of our coaches. As many of our coaches as you want to, 30-minute complimentary coaching session. Now, why are we doing this? We're doing this because we all love coaching, and we know that in just 30 minutes, you can absolutely experience a transformation that I honestly believe will change your life. So make sure you save your seat. You will get a full year of replay access with that. But the main thing is those free coaching sessions are going to be absolutely transformational to you. So welcome, ladies. Today, we're going to introduce you to some of our speakers. If you have not listened to the last podcast, we had Marie, who is the Chief Possibility Officer. We had Sol, who is talking about executive dysfunction. We introduced Victoria, who's going to be talking about mind-body wellness. We also had Rachel, who is a photography business growth strategist. So if you're a photographer who wants to go from making $100,000 to making multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're going to want to listen to that episode as well. So welcome, ladies. I'm going to get started first by introducing you to our beautiful co-host, Thais Glenn. Thais has been on this journey with me. She actually was a speaker at our first summit and has co-hosted the last three summits and also spoke as well. So welcome, Thais.
Oh, thank you, Debbie. Thank you so much. Yes, I have been with you since the very beginning of the summit, and as your client, and then as the coach and co-host with you, and has been such a beautiful journey together. Thank you so much for having me here again.
Yeah, we're thrilled to have you. It's so much fun. All right, let's start with Terry. Terry, can you introduce yourself? Tell us about what you're going to be talking about and why somebody should come listen to you at the summit.
Well, thank you, Debbie, and it really is an honor to be here and be among all of you. I feel like I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. So thank you for inviting me. This is great. I am so excited to be part of this summit. It is really going to be unbelievable. I have never met such an incredible group of coaches in my life, and I have been doing this for 25 years. So Debbie has, and Thais, they have a real gift for bringing together the best of the best. So for anyone that might be thinking, gee, why would I want to do this? You have an opportunity to have conversations with people from all walks of life that serve so many different areas to really boost the quality of your life. But what I'm going to talk about is something that is very near and dear to my heart. I am a wealth coach. I'm a certified financial planner, and I've been doing this work for decades. And what I do is I help women, focusing on women, to really help them understand their finances. And this is for women who are successful, they've been out in the workforce for a while, but for whatever reason, even though they're successful, they worry about their finances. And this is something that really tugs on my heartstrings when I come across it, because what happens is, even though they're successful in so many areas of their life, they really worry that if their paycheck were to stop or their income for any reason were to stop, would they be okay? And the reason that they ask themselves that question, and it tends to keep them up at night, is because they haven't found that safe place to go to where they can ask questions, not feel judged, but really feel like they're going to be heard. So some of the things that I've come across with clients over the years is that, especially if they're married and they have a male spouse, if they've met with their financial advisor and they've been in the meeting with their spouse, they feel like the advisor has only talked to their spouse and that they've really been like sitting in the corner. And now they really want to be heard. They have things that concern them that they want to be addressed. And they really want to understand how their financial well-being impacts maybe the next chapter. Maybe they've been considering downsizing their job or going into something that really serves their soul, and they don't know if they can afford to do that. I'm going to be sharing a very powerful story with you about a client that I worked with recently and how our work together changed her life. But not only did it change her life, working with her changed my life because the experience of watching her transform really clarified for me why I am here and why I do what I do. And I realized that this is the type of work that I want to do with so many people and just bring it out to the masses because I can see how powerful it is, not only in helping get clarity around your finances, but how it improves the quality of your life in doing that. So I'm very excited to be here. I'm very excited to share my story with you. And whether you listen to me or any of the others, I know you're going to get great value out of this event. So thank you again for having me here.
Well, thank you, Terry. I just want to pause for a moment and say Terry is the perfect example of a person that you might be thinking, well, I already have a financial planner. And this will apply to the other coaches that are going to speak as well. You might think, well, I already have a healthcare professional that I'm working with. Why would I work with, let's say, Jane? You're going to hear from Jane. Terry is the perfect example of this. You might have a financial planner, but what Terry does for you is so different. I cannot stress to you guys enough that if you are a woman who is trying to figure out, number one, like, do I have enough money to retire? Because this isn't about financial planning. It's about how you're going to live your life, or when should I retire? What's this going to look like? This is the value of a coach. A coach actually helps you with this. Now, Terry brings this financial planning background, but that's the value of talking through something with a coach versus a financial planner. So I really want to encourage you guys. She's an excellent person to use your 30-minute session with if you upgrade to the VIP for sure. But that's the value of coming to the summit and working with coaches.
Yes, I think all of you guys are super amazing. And that is why we decided to really offer that free coaching call, that it's not a consultation call. It's not for them to sell you anything. It's truly for you to experience how powerful that can be. So when you listen to the talks and you can see how Terry is explaining to you what she does or the steps that she would take with you to really change how you see your money, not just the mindset, but physically, right? Like how much money do you have and what you can do or not do with that, with your future. So then you get to have an actual one-on-one call with her. So you get to understand what would that work for you or how would that work for you. That is exactly why we added those free calls with the VIP pass, because experiencing coaching is so much more intense than you just listening to it, right?
Yeah, thank you. All right, Jane, since I mentioned you, why don't you take it away?
Oh, thank you, Debbie. Yeah, I've loved going through this coaching with Debbie and Thais with the mindset, and just every step of the way, you have somebody walking with you. And I'm so looking forward to Terry's talk. I can't wait to hear that. That sounds amazing. And all the coaches, I've heard different things about them, and it's going to be an amazing summit. I'm a functional nutrition coach, actually a functional nutrition and lifestyle practitioner. So what I do is I help people with their nutrition and lifestyle. It's so important. Every part of your health and your lifestyle is so important to your health. And we forget sometimes. For instance, in the talk that I'll be doing, it's really called When Exhaustion Becomes Your New Normal. And we think that, oh, this is just the way life is. And it's normal. This is, oh, I'm getting older. This is how it is. And that's really not the case, because our body has given us messages. I call it whispers. And we want to catch things in the beginning before those whispers get louder and our symptoms get worse. So I don't really help people aim at their symptoms. I help and aim at the person, the human being, that person. What is their life like? How does it affect what they're doing during the day? How does it affect their relationship with their family and their friends? We should all have joy in our life. And that's the aim of it. Just how can we get back to that joy? How can we get back to that energy and that kind of life that makes us happy? And what I've loved about all this coaching, it's actually encouraged me to do things and push myself a little bit to reach out to more people and get my business going more, because my aim is I want to help as many people as I can. Because what I went through many years ago, where I lost all of my energy, and I was blessed to be able to work with a naturopathic doctor, someone that just balances your body. And I said, oh, I never heard of that before. We're used to a pill for an ill or something like that. And I was so happy to learn that. And that's when I thought, this is what I want to do. I want to help people to get their life back. And so mostly it's women over 45 or so, but it applies to everyone. And it's really just about getting your life back, and just don't ignore those little signs and brush them off. Things like fatigue and brain fog. Those are things that we can help. And it's those little nudges and whispers that our body gives us. We want to pay attention to that. So I'll be teaching some ways that you can incorporate into your daily life different practices of breath work or different things that you can do that are all free. And so I think you'll be encouraged and know that you can be empowered to really change your life and have a better life than you have now. And I feel like that's a lot of what it's about. Our body can naturally heal ourselves. God intended for us to have a body that can heal ourselves. So I'm encouraged for all of you to listen to the talk and get a few things out of it that can change your life for the better. And thank you, Debbie, again, and Thais, for all of your help to help me to bring this out to as many people as I can.
Hey coaches, it's Debbie Shadid here. I've got something very special for you. If you're trying to figure out how to get coaching clients on your own and you're wondering what to post, how to explain what you do, or how to actually sell your coaching, this is for you. I'm inviting you to join me for a live edition of the Fast Track and VIP coaching experiences. This is your chance to stop spinning in indecision and finally take those actions that are needed to build a profitable coaching business. You'll get the answers, the guidance, the support you're looking for, plus real-time feedback on your niche, your offers, and your marketing. Spots are very limited and enrollment closes soon. Let's connect. DebbieShadid.com/schedule to claim your spot and to talk about your options. Let's get you clients faster and easier than you ever imagined. Yeah, beautiful. It's true. I mean, I think if we all raised our hands right near, like, how many of us agree that, yeah, we do live tired. We do live with like too much on our mind. And I always tell all of our coaches that it seems like a common thing for nearly every woman that I talk to say like, oh my gosh, I feel like I have ADHD. I can't even keep up. And I feel like, I think it's just acceptable. And Jane, what you're saying is, no, it doesn't have to be that way. That's not actually the way the body was made. So I'm super glad to have you here. Very blessed to hear from you about that. And people have their eyes open. So thank you, Jane. All right, Michelle, tell us about yourself and the work that you do, which is incredibly powerful and very meaningful. So welcome.
Thank you. I am so happy to be a part of this, and I am excited to listen to the other coaches and their talks and gain some great information for myself. I was thinking about, I never thought about our body whispering to us. I think that most of us don't pay any attention until it starts yelling at us.
That's right.
And that's just like with parenting. Sometimes we're like thinking about how our kids are terrible and running amok and out of control behaviors. But when we start to realize, like, I don't want to be the parent that's yelling, I want to figure this out. I want to be able to help my kids through it. That's where I come in. I work with parents that have kids that have extremely challenging behaviors. A lot of the kids that I work with are on their way to residential treatment because of creating unsafe homes. They're hurting other people in the family. They might be hurting the parent. They're sometimes self-harming, or sometimes they're coming back from residential treatment and parents are really afraid of what that's going to look like. And maybe they wouldn't admit this, but deep down inside, they don't want this child to return because it's been more peaceful at home. So I help you turn that chaos into calm, and safe is a big part of it. Nobody's getting anywhere, growing or maturing if there's not safety. So knowing how to create safety in your home. And even if your children aren't to the place where they're hurting you but it's out of control, you don't like the way you're parenting, nothing's helping, they're going to counseling, you're trying all these different treatments, and maybe they're fine in the counselor's office, but at home it's still very chaotic and it's just not the way you want to do things. And that's what happened with me. I have 6 children, 5 are biological, and I adopted my youngest one from foster care. And it was challenging. And I was already doing this work. And I remember thinking some nights when I was so tired at the end of the day, like, oh, all these parents are right. This is really hard. And that was because I didn't have anybody in my corner helping me to do it. There were times I wish that I could just have the things I was telling other parents, somebody telling me that. And that's where I really wanted to develop into not just seeing children in my office and occasionally talking to the parents, but really walking alongside with the parents through this journey as you make these changes. It's easy to go to a seminar and hear, parenting tips and ideas, but to have somebody to help you, to guide you through it. And I think that's the thing I love the most about coaching. I'm also a counselor, and so I see the difference of being in the office and helping somebody, or being day to day and walking them through that. I love what I do. I love parenting and working with families. It's so important, so critical to our well-being, how we build healthy and safe families. So I'm super excited to share with you.
Okay, I want to pause again and say, please sign up for this summit, designlivethrive.com. When I met Michelle and she told me what she did, I was like, wow. I mean, the world really needs Michelle. I mean, if you have a child that is difficult at home and it's creating an unsafe situation, or maybe you have this tense feeling, you need a Michelle in your life. And if you are listening to this summit and somebody who's in that situation, please, this is a free summit. They can upgrade and get that VIP ticket again and have a complimentary call with Michelle to at least find out what their options are. I mean, this is no joke when there's something like that going on. So again, designlivethrive.com, save your seat, and please share it with a friend. So thank you so much, Michelle, for what you're doing. All right, Kathleen, tell us what you do. I'm super excited for everybody to get enlightened on some of the things that you have going on. So share a little bit about what you're going to be talking about.
Well, thank you so much, Debbie. And I am really excited to be part of this also, because everything I'm hearing is so wonderful and so significant and important to share. And people are so challenged right now with the chaos in the world. And so coming back to the soul and the heart is really at the heart of my work. And I am a transformational soul mentor and a medical intuitive nurse practitioner with many decades of experience, as well as a sound and energy healer. And the sound and energy is so important because everything is energy. And so getting down to that, the essence of who we are, is so valuable, and it changes lives. It changes our lives when we are able to really tune into that quiet soul voice. And I'm speaking on the gnawing soul ache. What happens when you ignore your heart's call, and how to listen again. And I have lived that gnawing soul ache. I had that experience of following the patterns and the norms that social programming tells us is the way you're supposed to be. And in that, having that gnawing soul ache, I've also known deep loss. I had a daughter who passed shortly after birth. And also in that experience, I had a shared death experience with her. So this shared death experience was so amazing, so transformative. It was this experience of feeling her love, and almost like the hosts of heaven just connecting with me and feeling this unity and this eternity of love. It was so powerful and something that is not that easy to explain. But in that powerful experience, it was such a paradox because here my daughter had just passed, and yet I experienced this divine connection and unity that was, again, that grief and that loss, and then this perfect unity. And I found that my work has a lot to do with uncovering these deeper experiences, helping women with connecting with any loss, any grief, any trauma, and clearing that up, uncovering what is holding them back and limiting them from their heart's call, from what their soul really truly wants to express. And throughout my life, it's been like the step-by-step process of awakening. And that's what I see in this work that I do with sound and with energy work. The sound really opens us up, this healing sound. And I use these beautiful crystal singing bowls. I've been a musician all my life, and the sound is so intrinsic to who I am, using sound and using music. And when I discovered crystal singing bowls, it was such a beautiful thing, so resonant for who I am. And then sharing them brings in that peace, that relaxation, that stress, a response reduction. And there's so much evidence, even in research and studies, about the power of sound. So my work is really devoted to helping women, again, uncover and release limiting patterns that have been buried, and then recognizing their light and magic, because we all have that. If you're like me, I loved fairy tales when I was a child, and come to find out that magic is real, right? Magic is something that we all have within us, and being able to bring that out and express that, and then feel safe to return to the wholeness that we are. So that is part of what I'm going to share in this talk, and more about sound healing and other approaches, emotional freedom technique, and just really getting into the essence of who we are, and even understanding that on a eternal level about who we are as a soul and what we have experienced through our eternal lifetimes. Thank you so much, Debbie.
Well, I saw when you were talking about that for a moment, I thought, uh-oh, I'm going to start crying on the middle of this while you're introducing. I felt this overwhelm of like tears are going to come and chills, and just listening to you talk about your experience and just what so many other people could fill in the blank with their own experiences. Maybe not the same as yours, but their own experiences. And yeah, it's really going to be powerful to listen to you. And what an incredible gift and very interesting set of knowledge and skill, especially because of the medical background that you bring to us. We're really excited to have you here, and I know so many people are going to learn from you. Yeah. Okay, Charlotte, my dear, you want to introduce yourself, please?
Okay. Hi, guys. Listen, thanks so much, Debbie, for providing this for us and being a part of the summit. This is my second summit, and so I'm really excited about it. I really enjoyed the first one. It was a lot of energy. But let me introduce myself before I go off. I am Charlotte Thomas, and I am the owner of Charlotte's Coaching Corner. What I do is I am a bariatric weight loss coach. I help people who need to lose a significant amount of weight, and especially those who have had bariatric surgery, because that's the place I was several years ago. I was morbidly obese, 275 pounds. I'm only 5'2", and a BMI of over 50. And I had tried every type of diet that you could possibly have, and even bariatric surgery. I was desperate. I felt that this surgery was going to be the cure to my obesity, and it wasn't. No, it was not at all. Because even though I lost weight with bariatric surgery, I gained it all back. So now what I've devoted myself to is helping people who have had the surgery to lose the weight again by not going back to those diets that they've been on before that didn't work, not going back to revisions and different types of surgery again, but just helping them to learn to change by creating a plan to work on their mindset, creating a plan to work on healthy eating, creating a plan to work on lifestyle, because those are the things that are going to help you to lose the weight and to keep it off. Because even if a person has had surgery, after that surgery, they're going to still have to do those things. There's no way to get around it. But what I really like about what I do, and it was what Michelle said, in that bariatric weight loss, they offer support groups, but they're usually just monthly. And that doesn't provide enough support for that person to lose the weight and to keep it off. So I like being a coach because I'm able to work with people one-on-one. I work with people once a week. If they need to contact me or text me for some reason and they run into a crisis, I'm there. So I'm able to walk them through that process so that they can lose the weight, but better off, they can keep it off. And that's what my presentation of the summit is going to be about. Helping people not just lose it, because anybody can lose it. I've lost weight many times, but to help them to keep that weight off so they can stop all the dieting.
Okay. Don't you love Charlotte right there? She starts out telling us about her height, her weight, and her BMI. And I remember when I first met Charlotte and she was like morbidly obese, I was like, who says that word? Right. And she just says it with no judgment around it. It's just a fact. And it creates a space for somebody who's really struggled with this to be able to come and leave the judgment aside because Charlotte just said it all. I love that, Charlotte, so much. And I know from working with you, it's really a challenge for people to qualify for surgery. They have to lose the weight to get ready for surgery. You help some people like that. Then they regain the weight. They got to figure out what to do. Most people have failed with everything. Now it's the shots, it's everything. And again, I love it because you don't bring any judgment around any of that. So, yeah, if you're struggling with your weight, no matter what level it's at, whether it's somebody who's doing bariatric surgery or not, or has done it and failed, any way you come, Charlotte can help you for sure navigate weight loss. Again, whether it's with bariatric surgery or not, she's obviously mastered it. And you should go follow her on Instagram, by the way. All these ladies are on social media, but Charlotte shows her workouts. She shows all kinds of stuff to inspire you. So, Charlotte, I'm grateful, super grateful to have you here. All right, Cheryl, you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing?
Yeah, I'm Cheryl Williams-Jackson, and I am a wellness and resilience coach. In the daytime, one of the jobs that I would do is provide mental health therapy and also as a professor. But I'm in a new season right now. And Terry, I think about you because the new season I'm in is that I just retired. And I actually did have a coach there to help me with my going through and making a decision about retirement. But I also have to say, coming into this program, I actually came in after attending a summit last year here. And after going through several of the sessions, I think I realized I needed M&M, and that M&M was mindset and marketing. I started my business by myself using the library many years ago as a consultant in the helping profession. And coaching wasn't a thing at the time, at least it wasn't something that I knew about. So I had been looking around and I found great coaches and worked with, and eventually I got to the point where I realized marketing was what I needed. And Debbie, I followed you for so long and finally decided during the summit, I'm joining, and here I am. My talk is on quieting the overthinking mind. And I picked that topic because I am an overthinker, which sometimes slows me down because of procrastination. And I just realized the tools that I use with myself and with many others that I coach, they work. And so I've been able to experience them myself. I work with individuals who are in the helping profession, starting off with consulting, and in consulting, helping professional organizations. I got to see how the tools that I would bring in worked for them and how they wanted to continue with me. And I didn't have a way to keep them to continue with me until I came here and figured out, oh, yeah, let me move into coaching. And I didn't have to advertise my consulting business, but when it came to coaching, I needed to understand how to market And that is where I've been learning so much about it. I have to say that one of the things that brought me to this point where I don't necessarily provide therapy anymore, I still work in a clinic, but I am an educator and I am a coach also. So what I do is I bring porch talks. It's where we're already stressed and many of these things can actually burn us out. So I find ways for us to sit comfortably and just have a conversation. I'm from New Orleans, and so sitting on a porch and having those serious conversations are something that brought me peace. So I just decided to make that a part of what I do. So everywhere I go, I try to create porch talks. Many of the people that I worked with, and I have to go back to 2005 with Hurricane Katrina, although I'm living in California, as someone who was able to go into the state and to help out with the recovery by just the gifts that I had, which was sitting down with people, talking with them, whether it was providing mental health services or providing coaching with them, but being able to really understand what their needs were at that time. And then come to 2020, we have the pandemic take place. And then once again, I'm working with helping professionals once again to get back in there to be able to help others. And these were two times that were just really woke me up to where to use my gifts and decided it would be with helping professionals and women. And so I still go into organizations, but I love the idea of sitting with individuals and really helping them to figure out where the stressors are coming into their life. Because oftentimes we'll hear just use self-care, but many people will say self-care doesn't work for me, when actually self-care does work. It's just that the foundations for it hasn't been laid. And so I take them through 8 areas of the stressors that can happen. Like, do we really know what we can control? What does resilience look like for you? Because it may look different than for someone else. So overthinking is one of those. And that's what I'm bringing to this platform, this conversation around that. Overthinking is one of the ways that we keep stressing. And you'll see my humor often comes out when I do my porch talk. And I always say that life always throws us S's. And whatever you want to add in that word S, I'm throwing in situations, but I know often people use something different. But life is going to throw you different situations that require different tools and techniques and strategies to be able to help you to move from that stress that may be causing you so much stress that it locks you down, where you're not able to move forward, you freeze, or you begin overthinking. And what I'm able to do is to step in, and I'm using what I learned in my training to support therapists, because Brene Brown says they can call you on your BS. And so I'm able to see where they are and what questions that you already know that I'm going to ask, but be able to ask it in a different way. So I'm excited to be here in the summit. I got to see so many wonderful people last year that I actually could not pass up the opportunity to be here. So thank you so much.
Wow. Okay. I have so much to say. First of all, she brought up one of my favorite things that I talk with coaches about, which is self-care. I always say, don't use the word self-care, because if you're listening to this, you're like, well, okay, so I'll go get a manicure, I'll get a massage. No, we misunderstand self-care. That is not self-care. That's what the world thinks self-care is. And it goes so much deeper than that. Cheryl's, wow, I'm so excited. Who wants to sit on the porch with Cheryl, right? And have a cup of tea or coffee and talk with her? I know I do. One thing I want to mention to you guys is you're not going to be on camera. So if you come and join the summit, you don't have to worry about getting ready for anything. You're off camera. Our chat is open. Thais and I will be there navigating the chat, answering any questions. The speakers, as soon as they're done talking, this is a live event. So as soon as they're done talking, they'll be back in the chat connecting with you so you can answer any questions that you want to. Also, we are giving away at the end of each day. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we are giving away the ultimate coaching bundle for you. If you attend live on each day, we're going to do a drawing with whoever attended live. And this is a full 1-hour coaching session with every coach. So it's a really incredible opportunity. So I would encourage you to attend live. You'll get a schedule of who's talking when. So you can come to Jane's talk or you can come to Charlotte's talk. You'll know who's coming on when. But I definitely would encourage you to come on live, because you can ask questions and the speakers will for sure answer those back. The other thing I just want to mention before we move on is if you're a coach that's listening to this right now and you're like, oh my goodness, these ladies, like I could never work with Debbie or work with Thais, come into this program because they are so eloquent and they're more advanced than me. I just want to tell you guys that, and this isn't anything about any of these ladies particularly, but people come to us and they don't even know their niche, right? They don't know how to talk about their business. They've never sold any clients. And these ladies all have beautiful experience, but you can come just like that and turn out like this and be able to be speaking at the summit in just a matter of a few weeks. They sound so eloquent and they are beautiful. Again, not to minimize them, but you can be in the exact same position as they are right now. Anyway, we want to encourage you to come. Thais, I want to pause for a moment and let you introduce your talk because Thais is also a speaker. She does partner with me inside of our program. She coaches around mindset, but she's also going to be a speaker at the summit because Thais is also a coach in her own coaching business. Would you share about that first so we don't leave you out?
Oh, thank you, Debbie. That is very thoughtful. Actually, you caught me by surprise now because I had not prepared my very eloquent presentation like everybody else here. So let's see how I do it. No, just kidding. But I have a new way of coaching people that I actually have never seen anyone else doing. It's all about the future self. This is something that I have been working for a very long time. And just understanding what is growth mindset and fixed mindset and this idea of sometimes it's really seen as good or bad, but it's really in this present moment, right? Like, how am I feeling right now? Am I having a positive or a growth mindset around this specific situation or not? But that leaves out a little bit of your identity, right? How you see yourself, how you see what you do in your life. So what I have been creating, and now it's ready to be presented, it's the future self mindset. It's the idea of sharing your life where you're not so focused on the right now, the present, or allowing the past to control you where you are right now. It's truly changing how you see your paradigms, your perspective to the future, right? So it's really, what do I want to create or who I want to be? And not in 30 years, right? Maybe even next month. Yeah. And do we want to lose weight? That's a big one that a lot of people come to me, or build the business. That's the work I do here with you. Yeah. So you want to lose weight or create your business. And then you are on the day-to-day, right? It's like, how can I think differently today about marketing? It's like, well, yes. Or how do I want it to be? What type of coach do I want it to be? Do I want $1 million business, or I want my boutique style business that maybe makes $20,000, $30,000 a year that really helps me and my family, and I love the intimacy with my clients? It's important for us to see the future because that will dictate what we do in the present. So that's what we were talking about in a summit. That's my personal talk. And we're talking all about this future self mindset, how that works for you on your day-to-day life, and really transform the way you exist in this world, being more connected with yourself.
I have to tell you, that's what all these ladies are doing here too, is Thais and I both love this future self, and she's taken it, of course, much further in her own business. But we tell people, you want to be your successful self, like as if you were already a speaker on a big stage at our summit, right? Even if you've never spoke before, you can become that person who does that, and you can show up like getting dressed that day as the person who is already that successful speaker who's doing your next TED Talk or whatever that is on our platform. So it's super exciting. Thank you, Thais.
As I was listening to all of you guys, it really came I've been watching all of your talks already. I'm helping you prepare everything. One thing that Cheryl mentioned when she was introducing herself about resilience and overthinking, it's how amazing her talk is, where she's explaining different types of overthinking. That was pretty interesting. But what she said here in her presentation right now, it was that self-care doesn't work if you don't have the foundation. And that is something a lot of people miss, right? With self-care. So going to, I don't know, get a massage or get a manicure, but you are carrying all the overthinking with you. So you are there holding your hands and it's like, I should be home doing something else because my laundry isn't done yet. So you can't even feel the self-care. So I love the foundation. That is something when I start working with Debbie, we talked a lot about the business building, is that we need to build the foundation. There's so many coaches out there trying to learn all about the how to send emails, how to create $1 million. It's like, no. Let's come back right here and create the foundation, a very solid foundation of your business so that you can learn other things later on if you want to. So thanks for sharing that, Cheryl. That is something that I find a lot of people miss, right? That the foundation that you need to create first. Yes, I've been with you guys since day one when we first got the group of coaches doing this summit, and I love seeing the progress. I was just messaging Debbie here on the side, talking about some of you guys, like, wow, look how she's speaking. Look how amazing that is, that introduction, because we work through that. So I would love to hear from you guys about that process. How was, right, like behind the curtain a little bit, how was it for you to be supported and to be preparing this talk? How was your growth? Talk all about this. Can we start with Jane?
Yes, thank you, Thais. Actually, I want to say first, thank you for all the mindset coaching each week that you give us. When I first think of mindset, I'm thinking, I probably don't need that, but what a huge difference. It just makes a great difference to get your mind right and to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it and get you in the right lane. So appreciate that. And I just loved coaching. It helped me to, I don't want to say push me, but it helped to guide me along the way. And I wouldn't be where I was if I didn't do that. And I've had a coach before, which was amazing, but for some reason right now, it helped me to go to the next level, the next step. And I really appreciate that a lot. It's sometimes pushes you a little out of your comfort zone, but that's what you need a coach for. I always think of the example of why do athletes, professional athletes even, they get a coach. Why? Because they want to be even better and get to the next level. And that's what coaches do. All these coaches that we heard speaking, it makes me think I'll listen to all of them because I want to be better in all those areas, which actually reminds me when Dr. Cheryl was talking about the summit last time, I listened to all of them and that they were amazing. I can't wait to hear everyone else's because it's in every area of life almost. It's all different and it improves you in all the different ways. I would encourage everybody to listen to as many of them as you can, or I guess if you get that VIP, you get to list, choose somebody to actually go through. And even I think there may be a recording if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the ones that I missed, I said, I really want to hear them. They were really excellent. And even the reason why I signed up for the coaching, Debbie, over the last year, a friend said, oh, you need to listen to Debbie. She's amazing. Listen to her. And it took me a year, but I really finally realized, wow, look at her business. It's really growing. So I said, hey, this is the right thing. So I really appreciate all the work you both have done to help advance me in what I'm doing. Thank you.
I just want to add in here, Jane mentioned mindset, and I think the coaches here could agree that a lot of times when I say, and I have a mindset coach, what people say to me on the consultations is, oh, I don't need that. Especially like our therapists will say, I don't need that. I have that handled. And I'm not saying that they don't, but you really don't know. I have Thais here for a very specific reason, because I know that when I tell you to do things in your business, and if you'd have been able to do them before, you wouldn't be here working with me. I know that you have to face something up here that you didn't know that was blocking you. And you really, the amount of personal growth that you have, besides learning how to send emails and post on social media and write a marketing message and talk about yourself and make an offer and price, like we teach all that stuff. But I can tell you for sure that your mindset really matters. Cheryl, would you like to add anything else about what you've learned through the process that we've had here?
Yeah, and I love what you were saying because I always say that I'm trying to think of some big star where they show themselves doing surgery on themselves, that even as a therapist, we need someone. So as a coach, I need someone also who's able to see and help me to maintain my clarity to keep going. So I've had coaches and I've always told people I will forever have a coach now, no matter whatever shows up in my life. And I've had great coaches as I've gone along and moved from one to the other and gone back, and so that's why I was so excited when I found you all and was able to be a part of this. Because one of the things that I think that I got from it is the organization. And I always talk about one of the things that can create stress is not having the organization in place in our life. And not that we're going to try to hold tight on what that organization looked like, because it's going to change. We have to be flexible. But what I like being in this program is that there's these steps. And I was able to find those steps and make a note on my calendar where I stopped and where to pick up. So I have to say I appreciate that. And I will forever need mindset coaching also, Thais. Thank you.
I'll just mention Thais Glenn, our mindset coach, just less power. We're right now recording this at a time when there's some weather going on. She may pop back into this episode, but we just keep going. So anyway, thank you, Cheryl. Michelle, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I was thinking, I was trying for a good year to get some things going in my business. And so it's not like anything that we've been told to do is necessarily new, but getting really clear on who it is that we're talking to is, and it just really honed in for me. And I have to say that I've had some things happen in the last few weeks that I'm still trying to wrap my head around. I went from having about 400 maybe followers on Instagram, and in the last 2 weeks, I'm over 10,000 right now.
Oh my gosh, Michelle, I didn't even know that. I'm going to celebrate you right here. Wow. Congratulations. We just started a social media challenge. I'm not going to take credit for this, but this is one of the things that people really get hung up on is social medias. I don't know how to do it, and it's so hard. And I'm not saying that Michelle grew her social media because of that, but for those of you guys who do have challenges with social media, we do cover that. So go ahead, Michelle.
And I would say that a lot of it was mindset, and also just like I get to choose how I'm going to show up here and what's fun for me and what's going to be sustainable. And so it's outside the box of what like I've been told to do in showing up, but it's gotten a lot of attention, and that's been fun because now I feel like I have people that are listening, and some of them don't care anything about parenting. They're just in it for the reels, and that's totally fine. But it brings in my humor into what I'm doing. And I feel like that's directly comes from working with Thais and with you. I just feel really glad to be who I am and what I do, and just this sense of well-being, like my future self was talked about. Yeah, I'm totally like there, or not there, but you know what I mean? Like my head is around it.
Wow. Okay. Well, we're going to make sure that we leave everybody's information in the comments of this show, but I guess we should all be following Michelle. I'm already following Michelle, but we should be following each other. That's so fantastic. Congratulations, Michelle. Thank you so much. I will just, to piggyback off of what she said, it is the messaging part that probably is the most challenging work that we do together. And that's another one of those things that you think, I don't need any messaging. Like, I don't need that. This isn't the problem in my business. But in reality, it always comes back to, we spend so much time going through that and trying to get to the details of what makes sense. And we bring it from my perspective of, I don't know your business. I don't know what you're talking about. And we're trying to get it down to such basic words that you say so everybody can understand that encounters your brand. So that is, you're right. Michelle was already successful. She already had a book. She already had a big practice, but there was this gap of, how do I talk about this in a little different way? And so anyway, congratulations. That's awesome. Kathleen, anything you want to add?
Yes, I'm new to this program, and I really appreciate that foundation, and as was shared, that patterns of organization and how that supports me in reaching more clarity, really bringing in that clarity of who I'm serving and how to share my message in a more effective way. So that has really been helpful in just getting started with this path of really bringing it all together. Let's say, because I am in more of that woo space. And even though I've run a medical practice, I've done this healing work for a long time, but just being able to have this organization and this foundation of how to share what I do and do it more effectively. That's been great.
Yeah, so true. For those of you that are still listening to this podcast episode, thank you so much, because I know we're going a long time, but it's so good to learn from these ladies. Kathleen, we were really I don't want to say sensitive, but we really saw the value of what she did and so many layers of things that we wanted to make sure that you understand that she can actually bring to you and the transformation that she can create. And if you haven't been exposed to her work, you do need to have a clear understanding of it, because it's unbelievable the skill set that and the knowledge and the education, the understanding and the life experience. And again, like medical that she brings to this. Really glad to have had the chance to work with you on that as well. All right, Charlotte, anything you want to add as we wrap this up?
Yeah, listen, so I've been working with you over a year, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it because I have talked with other coaches before you. But I think what I really love about you, Debbie, is not only your passion and concern, but your experience. You have over 25 years experience doing this. You have built a team, like you said, Thais, with the mindset. We have others like Christine, who are specialists in their fields with designing website marketing. You just have it all in one package. But the important thing is that you share that package with us. And so you help us walk through it one step at a time. And it's like that old adage, it's better to teach a person how to fish than to give them the fish. And that's what you're doing. You're teaching us how to build our business and keep it going, not just while we're with you, but forever.
Yeah, well said. Thank you so much. Jane, anything else you want to wrap up with?
The only thing I had forgotten to say something just about my talk, if I can say that. The reason that my business is called In Harmony Health is because it's about keeping your health in harmony. And I forgot to mention in my talk, a lot of it is based on the nervous system that I'm talking about rather than just the nutritional end or lifestyle, because if your nervous system isn't calm, then you can't really go forward with that. That's why a lot of my talk, I'm switching to rather talking a lot about nutrition and the lifestyle. It's really to help people more to recognize when something's not right in your body. You're not sick. You're not sick. Maybe you wouldn't even go to ask somebody for help, but just to get your nervous system calm, because you can't heal if you do get sick. You cannot heal unless your nervous system is in that way. But yeah, and even just going through this whole course with you helped me to solidify and get myself more concentrated on what is the most important thing I need to help people with in the beginning. So appreciate, again, everything that we've gone through with you. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Terry, you want to wrap us up?
Sure, Debbie, I'd love to. Thank you. And my experience with you when I showed up, I've been doing this work for a long time. So when I first signed up and I knew that you tended to work with a lot of women who were just starting out, I wondered, am I a good fit? But as it turned out, and as you drew out of me, you and Thais, that although I've had all this experience, by selling my asset management business, I really had to re-identify myself. And that was terrifying because I saw myself one way and doing work one way. And one of the questions that I brought to you at one point was I felt like I wasn't really leaning into my financial background, that I was really leaning more into the things that make women have that sense of joy and purpose and financial freedom. And by you helping me drill down and see it in a different way, a lot of mindset work with Thais, and I'm a big believer in mindset, because I do a lot of that with my clients around finances. But just to see that there was a strong connection, but I wasn't articulating it. I think a lot of us have this experience that we think everybody knows what we're talking about. But,
yes.
We think it's so simple. Why don't you know this? But it isn't. And especially when it comes to anything to do with money, so many people have emotional blocks around money because it tends to trigger a lot of emotion. And that trigger is what causes people who are very successful in many areas of their life, but yet when it comes to their finances, they think it isn't like just the day-to-day paying your bills, but it's like, what happens if I lose my job? How am I going to survive? Or if I decide to retire, how am I going to survive? And by you helping me bring those pieces together, it was almost like the left and right brain coming together. And it made such a huge difference, not only in how I show up, but in how I present myself, and clarifying that bridge between like success coaching, life coaching, and financial planning, and why that combination is so important, which I was missing the mark on.
Yeah, beautiful. Charlotte?
Yeah, just real briefly, just one other thing I wanted to mention about my session that is very unique that I think people will enjoy is I'm going to talk also about how to work with your body. See, anytime a person decides they want to lose weight and you go on a diet, you get this instant rebellion from your body. Start craving food, craving chocolates, whatever it is. And so I'm really going to address that. How can you work with the body? How can you stop all of that fighting with your body and use it to lose the weight and to keep it off?
Yeah, so true. Well, okay, we're going to wrap up. Thais Glenn is back. Thais, any last word before we sign off?
Listen, I'm just so excited. This group of people are just unbelievable, great coaches, great integrity. So much fun. I've been working with you guys, and I just cannot wait to have that summit. And please join. It's free, it's amazing. Invite your friends. There's someone else, I think was on the past podcast, said there's nothing to lose.
That's right.
She's right. There's nothing to lose. It is just an unbelievable experience.
Yeah. All right. DesignLiveThrive.com. If you haven't recalled that yet, DesignLiveThrive.com, write it down and just go sign up today. So coaches, wow. Thank you so much for being here. I feel like I could talk to you guys all day long. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you at the summit. Have a beautiful day.